All right, when you're feeling stuck, the last thing you want to hear is some vague advice like, just cheer up. We're not going to do that today. Instead, we are going to get into a really clear, structured plan. It's called behavioral activation, and it's all about what you can do when you feel like you can't do anything. So let's jump right in.
This really hits home, doesn't it? It's so much more than just feeling sad. It's this feeling that your whole world is, well, shrinking. Your options, your energy, your social circle, everything just gets smaller and smaller. And this is the engine that keeps that whole thing running. We call it the downward loop. It's this tricky cycle where you have less drive, so you do less, and because you're doing less, your world shrinks, and that makes your mood drop even lower, which, of course, kills your drive even more. It feels like you're just trying to save energy, but really, you're just digging a deeper hole. So, the big question is, how do you get out of that loop? Well, the antidote is to actively, deliberately push back, to expand your life. But here's the key. We're not going to sit around and wait for motivation to show up. No, we're going to start with action. We are literally going to flip this entire script. And this is the central idea behind the whole thing. Behavior feeds biology. It's a really powerful concept. It just means that your actions, what you do, directly changes how you feel on the inside. So when you take even a small, meaningful action, your brain gets a little reward, a little bit of reinforcement. And that reinforcement builds just enough drive to make the next action a little bit easier. Right, so look at this. It's the perfect side-by-side. On the left, you've got that downward loop we were just talking about. But on the right, that's our goal, the upward loop. We're basically hijacking that negative cycle and reversing it. By kicking things off with a meaningful action, you start this whole positive chain reaction that just keeps building on itself.
Okay, so that's the big idea, the theory. But what does this actually look like in real life, on a Tuesday when you're feeling totally flat? Well, the good news is this isn't about some massive, overwhelming life transformation. The real magic is in a simple, daily structure. It's all about consistency.
And you're going to love this part. The magic number here is small. We're talking about just 2 or 3 meaningful, structured actions a day. That's it. On days where you have absolutely nothing in the tank, maybe it's just 2. See, the goal isn't to be a superhero. The goal is just to complete the things you set out to do. That act of completion every single day is what's so powerful. So, what could that look like? Well, here's a simple example, and I want you to notice how specific this is. It's not just go for a walk. It's walk 20 minutes after work. It's not tidy the kitchen. It's wash and put away all the dishes. That level of clarity is crucial because it takes all the guesswork out of it. You know exactly what done looks like. Okay, but how do you decide what those 2 or 3 actions should be? I mean, you could just do random stuff, but to make sure you're not just spinning your wheels, we use a really helpful framework. It's called the 5 life domains. Think of these as guideposts that give your actions direction and help you rebuild your life in a really balanced way. So here they are, the 5 core areas of your life we're going to focus on: physical health, environment, relationships, work or competence, and your inner life. The idea is that each day you'll pick your actions from at least a couple of these different categories. That way, you're not just hyper-focusing on one thing. All right, let's break these down, starting with physical health. This one is so foundational because, let's be real, depression just wreaks havoc on your sleep, your energy, your motivation to move. So the actions here are simple and structured. Things like a 15-minute walk outside. And here's the thing, you get the benefit from doing it whether you feel like it or not. The action itself is what matters. Next up, we've got your environment. You know that feeling when your space is a mess and your head feels just as cluttered? That's a real thing. So taking a small, concrete action to create some physical order can have a huge impact on your mental state. We're talking small wins here, like just clearing off one single surface. It gives you this little hit of control and visible proof that you can make a change. Okay, relationships. Man, depression is an expert at isolating you, right? And the more isolated you get, the worse you feel. It's another one of those vicious loops. So the actions here are all about breaking that pattern of withdrawal. And it doesn't have to be some huge, draining conversation. Just a quick, intentional text to a friend, or a 5-minute call. That's enough to throw a wrench in the gears of isolation. Now let's talk about work or competence. This one is huge for rebuilding your sense of agency, that feeling that you can actually get things done. Depression just whispers in your ear that you're useless, that you can't handle anything. So by knocking out one specific, targeted task, like finally answering that one email that's been staring you down for a week, you are directly fighting back against that feeling of helplessness.
And finally, there's your inner life. This is all about where you put your attention. When you're stuck, it's so easy to just ruminate, to get caught in those negative thought loops. So this is about intentionally pointing your mind somewhere else, somewhere more constructive. Reading just a few pages of a book, or even just journaling for 10 minutes, it's like changing the channel in your brain, from stagnation to growth.
Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, but let's get real. What about those days? The days you feel nothing. Absolutely zero motivation. The days when just getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain. What do you do then?
The answer is incredibly simple, but it's not easy. You do it anyway. That's it. This is where action stops being about feeling good and starts being about discipline. The mood doesn't lead, the action does. I'm not going to lie, this is the hardest part of the whole thing, but it's also, without a doubt, the most important.
And this kind of reframes the whole mission, right? The goal on those really tough days isn't to suddenly feel amazing. It's not about chasing a feeling. The real goal is just to break the pattern, to reduce the withdrawal. Every time you act when you don't feel like it, you are literally retraining your brain. The good feelings, they'll come later. That's a byproduct. The main event is the action itself.
Because really, this is all about the long game. This is not a quick fix. It's not a magic pill. The real power here, the thing that actually creates change, is the cumulative effect. It's all the small, seemingly insignificant actions stacking up day after day after day.
So it helps to have a realistic timeline in mind. After maybe 3 weeks of being really consistent with this, you'll probably start to notice a real difference. It might be small, but it'll be there. And then, maybe 3 months in, that's when you can look back and see that your actual patterns of behavior are fundamentally different. It's the simple, boring repetition that truly does all the heavy lifting.
Look, if there is only one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this phrase: action first, mood follows. That is the entire philosophy in 4 words. You do not wait to feel good to do things. You do things in order to feel good. You lead with your body, and you let your mind and your feelings catch up later.
So, let's put it all together. Here's the game plan, nice and simple. Step 1, pick 2 or 3 structured actions for the day. Step 2, make sure you're pulling them from a couple of those 5 different life domains. Step 3, complete them, no matter what. Ignore the voice in your head that says you can't. And step 4, get up tomorrow and repeat.
And that brings us right here to the final and most important question. And this one is for you. Let's not worry about tomorrow or next week or the whole 5-domain plan. Just for right now, based on everything we've just talked about, what is one small, structured action that you can complete today?